Okay, we're live.
Hey.
Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 124, and I'm going to call this the Defcon Hangover. And that doesn't mean that. Let's just say I had a lot of fun at Defcon, and we're going to try and show Tom this experience to get Tom to go next year, which hopefully he can. So, Tom, are you ready to be, I don't know, enthusiastic about Defcon?
I'm ready to be sold. I'm very skeptical. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this much party.
It definitely is a lot of fun. And I will just start off by saying, Defcon, I think, is for everyone, literally everyone. If you have an interest in technology, I think that you will find something there. It is so big and so massive that well, that's one problem, but there's just something there for everyone. So first off, Defcon's in Vegas. Tom, have you ever been to Vegas?
I have not. I hear it is very hot, and there are lots of neon lights, and everything is slightly annoying.
Let's take the slightly annoying and make it really, really annoying. So, so the reason Defcon's in Vegas is because there's apparently a rule, and don't email me about this, that says that if the FBI is looking, they are not allowed to ask the hotel people for their guest list. I mean, they can ask, but the hotel people can say, no, we will not give you our guest list. So if you're going to if you're going to show some IoT exploit, which violates the DMCA, you know that they're going to send an FBI agent after you, and you just say you're somebody else, and the hotel can't figure it out. So that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is, where are you going to put 24,000 people? I don't know if convention center is big enough to hold 24,000 people, which is a problem.
They should totally have it in Centerville, Ohio. Yeah, I'm sure that little town could hold all of those hackers.
I mean, I'm telling
you.
Actually,
having Defcon somewhere in Ohio might be safer for the residents, because hackers don't usually attack corn or cornfields.
No. It's massive. So we found out on the closing day that, remember, Defcon is cash only. You bring $240 cash, you stick it on the table, they give you a badge, and we'll show the badge in a second. They don't know how many badges to print or how many people are going to show up. They can make guesstimates. I mean, they said they go 10 to 15% increase over last year, which is 15,000. The same people who run Defcon run Black Hat, and I'll get into that in a second, and they know those registrations. So they printed 22,000 badges and 24,000 lanyards, and they sold out, and people are walking around with string and cardboard. So that's a lot of people, 24,000 people running around Bally's in Paris, to the point now where they said, we got to move, and next year they're moving to Caesar's Palace, which apparently can hold everybody. So that's a lot of people. And that's a lot of people for an organization to not know how many people are actually going to be there. So are you ready for that many people, Tom?
That sounds like an insane amount of people. I don't know if I could take that. And the conferences I usually go to are fairly small. I think the biggest conference I've been to is DerbyCon, and that's around 3,000, I want to say.
And all 3,000 of those people were at DEF CON with me, saying go to DerbyCon. So they're actively promoting. So right. if you can see the screen, here is the DEF CON badge. It's blinky. It may blink while I'm holding it up. It just randomly blinks. If you are good at reverse engineering firmware, you can figure out how it blinks. But the first thing you always try when you get something blinky and a double D-pad is the Konami code. And it does work. I just am failing at it to get it. Left, right, A, B. Nope. I'm trying. Nope, I think the battery is dead. But what DEF CON does is they give everyone a badge. Mine's white because I'm a human. Organizers get yellow. Speakers get blue. Goons or the security get red. Artists and media get a different color. And the goal is to try and talk to these people because each badge has something different on it. There's a contest with the badge. If you crack it, you get free DEF CON entrance for life. So a whole group of people spend the entire conference, the literal entire conference, gathering up as many lanyards as they can get because the lanyards have a code on them. They try to get everything they can to try and figure this out, and they go from there. So Tom's saying, "Oop, we lost Tom," so I'm going to invite him back. And give me 1 second. But everything about DEF CON is a game. Everything about DEF CON is social. They want you to talk to people. They want you to meet people. They want you to do everything that you can to learn as much as you can without necessarily going to all the tracks. So the good thing for Tom is that even if he doesn't know anybody, he can just show up and there'll be people for him to talk to. He will start from the beginning. He will stand on the 4-hour line to get his badge. And in there, he can talk about which version of Debian is the right version, because there will be hundreds of people that will argue with him, whether Kali or Tails is the right answer. And they will go on how secure is Tails because they found some esoteric vulnerability where if you freeze the RAM, you can get stuff off by decrypting it. But you ready to have that conversation?
Yeah, one of the things I've read about DEF CON is everyone thinks of DEF CON. I mean, DEF CON is the hacker conference, right? Everyone who's anyone in information security goes to DEF CON at least once in their security career, and it's always really intimidating. You know, you're going to a place in the middle of Las Vegas. You don't know anyone. You're in the middle of this giant town. Hopefully you're carrying electronics you don't really care about. And everyone around you is a notorious super hacker, or so you've been led to believe. And it can feel pretty intimidating. But one of the articles I read said everyone was super, super nice. And as long as you're there to learn, as long as you're not, full of yourself just for the sake of being full of yourself, as long as you want to learn something and grow and exchange techniques and share information, everyone is really chilled out and really friendly. I heard it's an absolutely fantastic place to be socially, just to talk to other nerds about cool, nerdy hacker stuff.
And what I found out my first time was last year. And I hooked up with some people, and I will tell you, go in with a group of people, go in with a friend, so you're not always having to make new friends, because sometimes being social in a bunch of people who are not generally social is hard. Like trying to find the right party, trying to find what to do next, having a friend there is absolutely crucial. I mean, I did it by myself. It can absolutely be done. And I found a group of people, and we went this year, and my experience this year was way better. The other thing you can do is there's all these sub-areas. So it's not just 4 tracks every hour with some new exploit. You can go to the crypto and privacy village. You can go to the car hacking village. You can go to the biohacking village. You can go to the wire capture village. You can go to the IoT village. You can go to the lockpicking village, the tamper-evident village. Let's see. And I'm just forgetting more. There's something for everybody. You want to grow a massive beard and mustache, you can go to the beard and mustache trimming contest. You can go to the beer cooling contest. And my favorite part out of all of DEF CON, you need a teenager for is Roots. They have what they call, I don't know how to phrase this. They have DEF CON for little people, basically young kids who learn all these things that people come and do presentations for, and they put on an amazing show. The problem is that the general public is not invited. You have to be asked to come. I did a speech there, and you sit there all day and you just watch these kids, these 8 to 10-year-olds, solder and program and do everything, and you're amazed by what the future is actually bringing.
When I was 8 to 10 years old, I was concerned about playing Pokemon and not this newfangled Pokemon Go stuff.
I was gonna say now you're 30 something and you're still playing Pokemon.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I was huddled in the corner with my Game Boy Pocket and my Worm Light, and I was playing Pokemon Red, and that's the only thing I was concerned about. I wasn't building cool stuff. So that's awesome that they're getting them started young and building stuff and being makers, getting them to be little hackers.
And yes, the big part of DEF CON is the wall of sheep, and you're trying not to get hacked. And we always talk about, well, are they doing this maliciously, or what are they doing? And from what I see is that no one there is trying to be malicious. Yes, there are malicious people there. But for example, the wall of sheep and the packet capture village, if you dare to go on the open DEF CON network, there are people there, a big wall, trying to capture everything. And they have a huge wall of username and passwords, and the username and passwords are asterisked out, but just to say, hey, we captured it. So they tell you, don't bring a device that you care about. Some of my friends were told by their work, do not check email for the next 4 days. Do not bring your work phone. Only bring your own personal device. We don't want you touching our VPN. We don't want you doing any sort of work-related stuff. So if you are at work, and you want to convince your company to go and not have to actually check email, there you go.
Well, I think I'm going to sign up for this right away.
I mean, no email for 4 days. What's better than that, other than the Monday after? So for me, I worked at the Crypto and Privacy Village. I was an organizer. So one of the cool things that we did is we sold a crypto badge. Now, these are a hot commodity because we had trouble soldering the last minute. If you've ever tried to deal with China and manufacturing, you're going to learn that you need a very, very long lead time. This is the 4th or 5th prototype board. We couldn't get the stuff on. We had an evening of soldering. Not soldering, surface-mounted toaster oven soldering. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. No, that's painful. I was going to say, that soldering could be fun with, kick back, have maybe a beer, not too many beers because there are soldering irons, and, watch movies and solder. But surface mounted? No way. You guys are on your own.
So everything was surface mounted. There's only a couple parts. The LEDs, the battery is a double-sided tape, because we had to get these done quickly. But the cool part about this badge, and it's not fully working yet, we're waiting for them to flash the final firmware. It blinks. You push the center, it should turn red, which is awesome. But if you hook it up to USB, there is a USB, and it's rechargeable. It acts as your second factor authentication on a U2F type of site. So Gmail, or basically or LastPass, or anything that takes U2F, which is awesome.
That is fantastic.
And one of the underlying contests of DEF CON is trying to find as many different badges as you can. So each different village has their own badge if they make one. And some people just randomly bring in 100 badges, and your goal is to collect as many pins or whatever as possible. And there's no right numbers. Whoever has the most at the end wins, I don't know, fame and fortune. They don't actually win anything. They're probably out a lot of money, but they still look cool for those couple days.
And as we know, at DEF CON, looking cool is probably the highest tier of winning, like that a human can achieve. Now, if you're a goon or a presenter or one of the organizers, you're clearly up somewhere in the heavens. But for a measly human looking cool, it puts you up there.
I mean, it's my friend had a whole bunch of badges at the end of the day, but he knows literally everyone there, so he knows exactly where to go and everything else. And then the other idea, I forgot the social engineering village. The problem with being in Vegas is a two-party consent for phone call. But if you've never heard, and so they can't record the social engineering. But basically their contest runs all weekend. They give you a company. So if you want to participate, you got to get in line. They give you a company, and you have to play capture the flag. They want all these 30 different types of information, and your job, and they record you for 15 minutes, or they put you in a soundproof booth. Everyone's watching. Is you call this company, and you get this. And this theme this year was tech companies. So you would think tech companies would have all this information on lockdown. They would train their employees. Yeah, not so much. And I really wish they would have a recording so you can see how easy it is. But because Vegas is a two-party recording state, you can't actually release the recordings.
That is awesome. And I think I remember reading something about that a couple years ago, but I've never gotten the chance to actually see it. And now it makes sense why I've never seen videos of it, because
Two
they
parties
can't legally release those.
And the funny thing is, they tell you, by the way, you can't record. Don't accidentally record. There may be a federal agent in the room because this is DEF CON. The feds are here. Don't do it. Don't get caught. It is bad. And they go,
which, by the way, for those listening who don't know a lot about DEF CON, that is not an exaggeration. If someone says, yeah, the feds are here, there's some guys from the NSA here, yeah, they are. And they're doing a couple things. They're trying to catch notorious hackers, because I mean, this is for Christmas and everyone shows up. They're recruiting. There's a whole lot of recruiting that goes on at DEF CON, where the feds will approach someone and they say, hey, that's really cool, we've got a job if you want it. And they'll hire people straight from DEF CON. There have been lots of stories about that, and it's a great recruiting drive for them. And they're waiting for good crimes of opportunity. If you hack a casino, Mission Impossible style, and get all you and your buddies together with your recording sunglasses and brag about it at DEF CON, they could be like, all right, those are the guys who knocked off the casino. We can go ahead and arrest them. So one thing you don't do at DEF CON, and one thing that shouldn't happen at DEF CON, is someone bragging about all of the illegal things they've done. It's not the smartest move.
Yes. And so to all those people who set up 4G cell phone jammers, I really, really hate you. So every year there's a major thing. Like one year somebody put a fake ATM, an ATM with a skimmer on it right by the security place, because next to casino security, they don't need cameras because security is there. Every year they try to do something. This year it had to be the 4G deprecating. So if you don't know what that means, is that 4G right now is still, I think for the most part, unhackable. You cannot break it, as we know.
If you're not a phone company, it's pretty secure right now.
So, and I don't think you can civilians buy Stingrays?
Yes and no. It depends on the state. It depends on the jurisdiction. It depends on what exactly you're buying. There's a lot of variables in there. But if you really wanted one, you could find a way to get one.
But so if you can't buy a Stingray, the next thing you do is you push everyone onto the Edge network. You're in a hotel. People expect to get crappy service. So when they see 2G in the middle of the bowels of the hotel, they don't think twice. I will let you know that Bally's has 4G basically everywhere. So if you are not on 4G, there is somebody pushing you onto 2G. And then they can hack your phone.
One of the great parts about modern phones is you can actually go into your options. And on some phones, this might be exposed. Others, it won't be. But I know at least for me on the Nexus line, I can actually go in and say, hey, 2G and 3G service, don't ever show me those. Don't ever connect to a 2G or 3G network. Only give me LTE. And it will. It'll respect that choice. Now, you got to remember to turn that off when you get out, or else when you hit a non-LTE area, your phone won't work. But it will keep you safer from downgrade attacks.
So yes, they did that. So then you say, well, how do I get service? Well, one you may not need. And then there's the DEF CON Open Network. Do not go. If you want to blackmail somebody, if you want to extort someone for a tasty beverage, grab their phone and say, you have 5 minutes or I'm putting you on the Open Network. And then the Wireless Village will take all that data. So they have, this is a great part, they tell you this. They have a DEF CON secure network, which is really tough to believe that it is secure, but it is. They send their networking team out, and if you're hacking the network, they will hack you back. They need to make sure this is secure. So for whatever reason, people are saying that the secure network is actually more secure than the 4G network because you are afraid of a downgrade attack. You're just trusting that the DEF CON people are smart enough to kick all the Wi-Fi Pineapple people off. It's tough.
That is fantastic. So they are counter hacking people on their secure network.
And
I guess they need to, because it's either last DEF CON or a couple before that someone broke into the press Wi-Fi network and started snarfing up press packets, and that's one thing that is explicitly denied. You do not mess with the press at DEF CON. They're there to do a job. They're there to, create press and get people interested in hacking and the security stuff they're doing. And if you hack the press, they're going to write terrible things about us, so don't hack the press. But someone did, and they got in major, major trouble for it.
So the DEF CON network people, so the Wi-Fi Pineapple, Darren Kitchen and Hack5 are there in the vendor area, and they sell a ton of Wi-Fi Pineapples. So a whole bunch of people are like, yes, I'm going to use it at DEF CON. Well, please change the default password, because the DEF CON goons know, and they will brick your device. And people don't get that. And every year we hear a story about how somebody did that, and you're like, don't try to hack the DEF CON network. They are smarter than you. They know what's going on.
So I actually saw something cool at DerbyCon a couple of years ago. A buddy of mine was showing me his Pineapple, and he said, yeah, these have got really nasty cross-site scripting vulnerabilities in the web interface. So if you make a Wi-Fi network with a script tag in it, he can redirect Flash videos onto the management interface or any other type of loadable content. And so he was rickrolling everyone at DerbyCon using the Pineapples on public Wi-Fi. It was great. They would just go to the management page to try to hack something. The Wi-Fi network names would load, and then there's Rick Astley right there doing his thing. It was amazing.
It was basically so. And then you get people, hey, so I'm running the Crypto and Privacy Village, and somebody comes, hey, I have my laptop, but I need Wi-Fi. What do you suggest? And we're like, I don't know what to tell you. Go on either Tether or go on the secure network. Is the secure network secure? Well,
you are at DEF CON.
Yeah, and people say, like we said in the beginning, people are not here to be malicious. For the most part, they're just trying to make sure that you're safe. And there are people who are trying all these cool things. You just bought your Wi-Fi Pineapple. I would absolutely love. I got one. So absolutely love to see what I can get. And and I did spend an afternoon at the Wireless Village, and they were showing me how to use Wireshark. They bring laptops. You sit there. People walk around. They actually help you say, this is how you capture packets. And you look at it, and you're amazed by how I didn't know that Telnet was unencrypted. Telnet
is 100% clear text. That's why if you hear of a device using Telnet, you run for the hills with that device and you throw it into the nearest volcano.
And I just forgot about that. I forgot that Telnet was unencrypted. That was a bad thing. So it's definitely a lot of fun. And then the final part of DEF CON are the parties. And this is a game. You have to find the right party, because if you find the wrong party, you will have a miserable night. So there's Twitter accounts that try and get you the best parties. There's social engineering. People know, because remember, you have a whole bunch of security people, and you have companies who want to recruit these people. So they do have parties, but they can't tell 22,000 people, hey, show up to this area, we'll get you in. I mean, that's what John McAfee did, and that didn't end up well. So John McAfee said, hey, everyone, come to Larry Flint's Hustler Club, and there's a party there for you. So we'll even pick you up. So they send all these limos. You get in the limo. You get there, and Larry Flint's club is not nearby. I mean, it's not far, but it's not a walk that you want to take in the heat. And you show up, and somebody says, $75, please. And now you're standing there saying, do I pay $75 to get in with 10,000 other of your closest friends? Or do you go somewhere else and get an Uber back? We were lucky. So Jeff Bezos decided to throw a party. And he didn't tell too many people, but I happened to be told. So we went to a private hotel, and we had the best time with the Amazon security team and Jeff Bezos.
Nice.
I did shake his hand, and we did have a lot of fun.
Did he give you an Amazon drone? He gave you an Amazon drone, didn't he?
He did not give an Amazon drone.
I know you signed the NDA. You don't have to tell our listeners, but you can tell me afterwards how much you like your Amazon drone.
Let's just say we had a lot of Chivas 18. And if you don't know your whiskey, the higher the number, the better it is. So 12 is normal. 15 is good. 18 is where it's at. And if you can get 21, you're really high rolling there. Let's just say there was a lot of 18s.
Nice.
So we did that. Rapid 7 sponsored the pool party. That was a good time. They actually had a good DJ. Yes, finding the parties is where it's at. So aside from going to the security talks, there's a whole underpinning of everything else. And you talk about the feds being there. DARPA was there, and they had 2 robots doing CTF problems. It was the Cyber Grand Challenge, and I missed it. I was doing something.
Oh, that's right. They tried to have 2 autonomous systems, and not like networking autonomous systems, like not AI scale, I wouldn't think, but 2 heavily scripted machines tried to hack and counter hack and defend against each other. It was robot on robot packet wars.
And from what I heard, it was pretty successful. I mean, I didn't hear that it failed miserably, but yes, they were there and they were showing that off and everything else. So look, DEFCON was a blast. And the other great part is, if you're interested, let me know. I can hook you up with people if you really want to help. If you want to take your ham radio test, there's a ham radio village that will let you do things. If you want to give a presentation, not necessarily at DEFCON proper, but in one of the villages, the Crypto and Privacy Village absolutely wants to hear what you have to say, crypto and privacy related. You want to break down IoT things. Companies are sending stuff saying, hey, take our stuff. We want to know the vulnerabilities. And then they patch it. I think they found 150 vulnerabilities. And these are not just really good people. These are the kids at Roots. The kids at Roots are making their own badges and then hacking them. So yes, we had absolutely a great time. And I do recommend that you go.
And if you can find it, let me compare a link here. Just a second, but I believe you can find all of these talks on YouTube.
So yes, DEFCON does YouTube.
Yes, they do their own
DEFCON conferences, and they put them all out. It takes a few days. It takes a few months. Sorry. And the only talk I wanted to go to this year was Chris Rock, not the actor. He is not the actor. I'll say it again, not the actor. He's an Aussie. Last year, he talked about how to off somebody on paper. So if you really, really don't like somebody, one tiny, tiny criminal act of fraud, not like a major act of fraud, tiny, tiny act of fraud, you can off somebody. And he walked you through the whole thing.
Huh.
And he was funny and everything else. And it wasn't hard to do. And he's on the site. It was one of the big, he got a big ovation for that. This year, he came back and he said, how to overthrow a government. And he walked you through. He walked through how the Kuwaitis overthrew their government in 2011. And the best quote there was, if you cut people's water, they really don't like that. Basically, find some official of power, bribe them, do something corrupt, hack the bank, transfer money into there, then spread propaganda, basically control the media. And he went over basically also why the Turkey coup failed. And the main reason was they didn't control the media. And it's not hard to control the media. Just make your own media. It's not that hard. There's the internet. Remember, everything on the internet is true. Then there was a talk on physical IoT devices. So you have video cameras that are physically wired and everything, but they're still going to a central control switch. How do you bust that? Then there was more drone. There was lots of drones. I think there was the talk on the Qualcomm vulnerability for Android phones.
Yes, I did hear about that.
I mean, all these different things. I didn't go to too many because, like I said, I was helping with the Crypto and Privacy Village. We did get Alex Stamos. He's the Facebook chief security officer, to get Hurd of Texas, Republican, and James Stalwell of the San Francisco Silicon Valley Bay, Democrat, to go talk about civil liberties and everything else. And it's I'll put a link in there. They were awesome because there was no politics there. They were saying, hey, you need to start people young. So rah teachers, you get them going, and and they were talking about Apple, and they were saying, look, a lot of this stuff is hard because nobody likes terrorism, and we have to weigh that against whatever about keeping people safe. And they went on for an hour, and I think that was a huge plus for DEF CON to get 2 Congress people there. They hacked cars. I mean, we had more color vulnerabilities. We had more IoT vulnerabilities. You can lockpick. I said that already. So everyone had a good time.
And if you want to check out any of this stuff, go to YouTube, look for DEF CON. They've got an official account. It's probably too soon for too many of the videos to be up right now, but soon they will be there. If you're looking for security talks in general, there's a buddy of mine by the name of Adrian Crenshaw who goes to all of the conferences. It seems like anyway, and he's got a video crew. He's got a lot of good equipment, and he records these conferences and puts them on YouTube. Those who have been around the security community for a while will know him better as Iron Geek. And if you head over to irongeek.com, he's got a full listing there. If you go to YouTube and just search for Iron Geek, his account is full of security talks from all kinds of conferences. Everything from DEF CON to B-Sides to Show Me Con. I mean, just about everything. Every security conference you can think of, he's there with his crew making awesome stuff happening. He even came and keynoted for the Ohio Information Security Forum's Anniversary Conference 2016, presented by myself. So if you want to see me not present anything but introduce people, he's also got videos of that. And these are great videos. You will learn a bunch. They're entertaining. A lot of the speakers are funny. There are some security speakers, like normal humans, where it's dry content. It's good stuff, but it's hard to watch. It might put you to sleep. That happens sometimes. But go and check it out. Learn something cool.
So we'll leave you with that. Again, there's a lot of there is security news, but it's not for the average person. I mean, we're not gonna patch your Qualcomm chip on your Android phone. I mean,
just run your updates when they come out, and buy a Nexus phone and don't root it, and
so
you know the deal.
So I figured let's talk about DEF CON. I really think everyone should go. Look, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably interested, and that means going to DEF CON. Hopefully we'll be back next week with some real security news that we can all talk about. So with that said, we'll leave you this week, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
See you, everyone.
Okay, stop.